All right. So we're continuing our Q&A. I think it's our fifth or sixth one, I think. And the first question that we had was, how do you explain to someone that we didn't come from the monkeys? There are a lot of sources. Well, today, first of all, I'll tell you that one of the best thing to explain is that we don't have concrete proof of links from whether it's animals or human being, of the in-between stages. Okay, we have something that looks like, and yeah, we are like very close, like 97 or 19% close to the DNA of the monkey or something like that. I know it's very close, but 2% in DNA and genes is a huge thing. Okay, but we have to understand that we don't have links. Like, how do we get to the lion, right? The way evolution works means that first you have a thing that going from the water, and then it starts crawling, and then you get a cat, and from the cat it gets bigger and adapts to the place, and then you get the lion. So where are all the halfway beings, all the transformation of what, because everything is in state of transformation. It's only one, the survival of the fittest, also that only the most, the one can adapt, can survive. But what all the in-between animals, we don't have. There's no links. Where did you see the animal between the cat and the lion, or between where do the horse come from, for which thing before, right? So with men, since the monkey looks the most similar, so it looks like there's a link, because there are a few things in between, very few, right? With Lucy is like that one first thing that looks like yeah, but you have some monkey who are like more straight and more, so, but it's, so if you want, that's one, I think, of the strongest proof. However, there are books, if you take the books from Rabbi Zamir Cohen, I don't think they have it in English. They have it in Hebrew and French. The same book, he has a book called The Coming Revolution, or the new title, The Science of the Ages. So there he speaks about the connection between science and Torah. So one of his books, I think it's the third volume or second volume, I forgot. In French is the volume 2. I have it here. And there he disproved the theory of evolution. He says that human beings even lived with the dinosaurs. We had like all types of things. I spent a lot of years in college and arguing with people, and if you spend enough time, you looking at the proofs of evolution, you realize it doesn't work. The world is too young to have been able to have people like us on Earth. You need a few more million years in order, because the way evolution works is that every now and then there's a coincidence, meaning there's not a coincidence, there's a happy, lucky transformation that enables us to adapt to the next stage. But for this to happen from the Big Bang till today, the world is too young. It takes much more time to have that type of intelligent design in nature and in the world and in human beings. So I'll just, will advise. I have a few books here, but yeah, I think The Universe Testifies from Rabbi Victor Miller. is very good. He speaks about how to deal with it. I mean, how, there's a lot of proofs. The books from Rabbi Cohen, the books from Rabbi Slivkin, I think, also the challenge of creation. He speaks about that. Today you have about 10, no, at least not actually more, like 15, 20 books that deal with science and evolution. So, and that would explain more about it if you want to be more in technical terms. I'm not a scientist, but you have to go archaeologic. It's very hard. The challenge is, what do you believe what you were told in school as being the truth, right? I grew up thinking that I came from a monkey, right? And believing, that dinosaurs were millions and millions of years ago. I mean, we have evidence that otherwise. Okay, so the world believes in science until there's a new finding. Do you understand that when there's a new finding, everything from before is false? Right? So we live in a subjective or in a theoretical type of theory, right? That until it's proven otherwise, it's the truth. But we as Jews, we know the truth. So, because if we truly believe that the Torah is from God and God can give us the truth, now it doesn't mean that there's no some type of evolution. We know there's such a thing as evolution, it's more adaptation. We know if people move to Africa, they will turn, more dark skin. If you go to in a cold country, you'll be more white, whatever. So this based on the food, the place, everything has its mutation. They are mutations, but we have certain principles and certain things that we know that proves to us that there's a God, right? And that if you go according to logic, if you don't follow your emotions, don't follow your brainwashed brain from society and what people tell you, and you spend enough time exploring the pros and cons. The theory of evolution was just a theory that was developed, right? And that was just one of the theories. But if you have to think about it, how many people really believe that we come from the monkey? If you make a survey, right? So 3/4 of the world believe we come from God. 3/4 of the world, okay, 80%, because the 80% is religious people on the planet. So we have a tiny 20%, and maybe I'm exaggerating even. I think it might be even smaller, but because they are the one who speaks the most, who makes the most noise outside, all the scientists and or whoever wants to destroy the thought of the religious or the spiritual establishment. So they are putting all the effort and advertising and all that to destroy it. But 80% of the world is religious and believe in spirituality, that we come from God and all that. None of we come from the monkey or so that. So all of Christian, all of Muslim, all of Jews. I don't know what they believe in Buddhism, but probably the same. And any religions connected to that. So we are the majority. So it's a very tiny minority, but because we're in the Western world and we're surrounded by the media and whatever people teach us, it sounds like that's the prevalent belief and knowledge and truth, but it's not. Yeah, so that's the way we answer. So now, in the concept of free will. So free will. So if you want to go in depth, one of the best book in English about it today is, there are many, of course, but the one that I like the most, well explained, is the one from Rabbi Akiva Tatz. There he explains in depth. I think he has two books. One is the Thinking Jewish Teenager. There he has a very good and simple and clear explanation and answer about it. And then if you want more, there's there is I think he has a new book that came out. Let me find it right away. Oh. Let's see. No, sorry about that. Ah, Will, Freedom, and Destiny. Okay, yeah, that's one of his most recent books. That's on Amazon. Will, Freedom, and Destiny. So we won't go in depth. But from my perspective, I will say like that. Most of the time, we don't really use our free will, our free choice. We are like habit beings. We are addicted beings. We just follow what we're used to, what we're conditioned to. We're in the matrix, basically. If you want to have free will, you got to do a bit like Neo, believe, go out of the matrix, understand you're prone to a system, and start making your own choice. But what it means is that really we have sorry we have the ability to, when you make a choice that is like, do I want vanilla ice cream or chocolate ice cream? That's not free choice. That's just following your desire. There's no free choice in that. Free choice means that you make an action, you do an action, you make a choice that will change the course of action, that will make a shift in the way you live, meaning the consequence will be great. Choosing between chocolate or vanilla ice cream is not going to change anything unless you're allergic, maybe then. No, Dave was not answered yet. But if you make a choice whether should I go to this school or this school, should I marry this person or this person, should I take this career or this career, those are choices that will impact your entire life, that will make a real change. It takes you out of your comfort zone, out of your habit. It's like disconnect from your, it can change your destiny, so to speak. So the idea is that real free choice means when you make real decisions. We rarely do it. Most of our choice is like, oh, I like this better, I like this better. That's not free choice. But how can we have free choice and free will if God knows everything? So obviously the ultimate root of it is hard to understand, right? But the two examples I like to give is like that. First of all, we understand that we cannot understand God. If we think we can understand God, something like, oh yeah, but I don't understand this commandment. I don't agree with this. Like, you don't agree with God? You don't understand God? Oh yeah, that makes sense. He's God. Oh yeah, okay. God is beyond understanding. So the idea is that, imagine I give to my child. My child is my child, right? I gave birth to him. I mean, with the help of my wife, of course. But she gave birth to him with my help. And then basically, you have the child. I know him pretty well because I raised him, and I know how he is. And I most of the time can predict 90% of the time, like what he's going to choose or not. But he has free choice. He can do whatever he wants. Okay. Now, somewhere he surprises us, hopefully for good. But the idea is that God knows us. He designed us. He knows, he made our neshama. We're a piece of him, right? like the mother who feels exactly what the child feels. The child is in pain, like, or she's not even home. Something's wrong with my child. I know I have to call him. You know, like they know. But God knows even to the depth. God is in you, so to speak. He made you. He's part of you. So when the child makes a choice, if I put in front of him Coca-Cola and water, and tell him, what do you choose? You have complete free choice, but I know my child so well that I know he's going to choose Coca-Cola, right? So does my child have real free choice? Yeah, he has free choice. He can choose whatever he wants. But I know him so well that I know also exactly what he's going to do. So it's not the paradox in this way, right? Meaning it like I can know I know what my child is going to choose, and he still has complete free choice. I'm not forcing him in any way. So God is the same thing, but even on a high level, because he knows us inside out. So he could plan every action and reaction from everything that happens because he's God and he knows everything he designed. He knows if the bird is going to go this way or this way because he made the system. He created the computer. He created the matrix. And we're just, he's the architect of the matrix. And we're just, you know, the players in the game. So he knows already. So that's one answer. The other answer I like to give is that we are in a chess game. Did you ever play chess? Do you know how chess works? Yeah. So we're in a chess game, and you can literally choose every move. I can move my pawns there or my horse there, right? My queen. But you know, just like the you play against the computer knows every move you can make, right? But I still have free choice to choose what I'm going to do, right? So God, in a way, is that supercomputer that knows every move you can make, because it is still a certain amount of, there's some things you cannot do, right? If I decide I choose to fly, well, you know, you might need some drugs maybe, but you know, it's not going to be a physical fly. It's going to be in your mind. But the idea is we're giving a certain amount of choices in life, and God knows all the choices because he created the system, the chess game, and each time we make a move, he rearranged, like just like a computer, he will rearrange all the possible reaction and movement from the opposite side on how to move. That's so we have free choice, but still this, you know, complete knowledge of every move we can make. So that's the way I understand free choice, and yeah, that's, hope it's satisfying enough. Now, the next question was, how far before someone plans to kill you can you rise up and kill him first? So I was kind of given the question like 10 minutes.
AKA like Arabs and stuff like that, terrorists.
I assume that was what you meant. So I'm not going to,
Pieces
I
of garbage.
need to research it more, but I'll tell you what I think is the halakha so far. As soon as you see someone with a weapon, or someone who actually say he comes towards you and say, I want to kill you, or you know that person wants to kill you, then
Rabbi, can I interrupt you for a second?
Sure.
There's three things that a soldier needs in the Israeli army in order to be able to open fire.
Yes.
Right. First one is the person coming towards them has to have a want, a way, and a how. So like a want is you know, you see in their eyes they're screaming Allahu Akbar, you know, they're running at you screaming like Mavet Lihudim. Right. A way is like they're physically able to, if they have a gun, then as long as there's nothing between you and them and they have a gun, right? If they have a knife, then they have to be like, there can't be a fence between you and them.
Right.
And the third way is a how, aka a weapon or whatever, whether a knife, a gun, or a piece of a steel beam. So that's the three ways, but isn't it like if someone would just run towards, like, even if someone, like, so halachically, if someone's like has a hatred in their eyes and they scream, "I'm gonna kill you," or like, is that enough halachically to?
And no, I think that it's a good question. So I don't know
I'm
how.
not. I'm not talking about someone like in the heat of the moment screaming, I hate you. I'm going to kill you." Like you see actual hatred that the person was instilled with from
Right. I
birth.
don't think it's enough. It's as far as I know, the halacha is you have to have the person actively come towards you with the clear intent to kill you, and he has to pursue you. This is rodef, someone who pursues you. So you're already in a situation where he's actively pursuing you. Just saying I want to kill you or that wouldn't work. Um, so
How does
yeah.
Sorry. No, I was gonna say, like, if someone chas v'shalom is in a situation where, like you mentioned, like an Arab chas v'shalom, like, how do you have time to process if this is halakhically permitted or not? You're gonna have like all these reflexes, like.
No, no, you don't have time. This you have to practice before.
Like your body knows if it's like if he's like if there's like a threat, like a real life threat, your body is gonna know.
With a terrorist, usually it's pretty easy to figure out. You know, it's like he's coming towards you saying Allahu Akbar and he's
the hardest is in a crowded area where it's with a knife and not with a gun. Then it's hard first. You have to figure, like, you don't know exactly, because it could be like someone, like there was an airport recently, like something fell and made a loud noise and people thought it was gunshots and started running. So like if you see someone like let's say you someone who is working in the kitchen, he's holding a knife, you have to make a quick second decision to see if that guy was causing an attack, or if
yeah, it requires a quick call. Yeah, it really requires training, and if I remember correctly, they teach you how to respond, whenever something happened, and the how to react, and they test your reaction. And some people freeze, some people, they go into shock. So you have to know how to react and to respond.
And the idea, if we call it Efes Lamea, 0 to 100, it's a test they put us through.
Right, exactly. So that's one of the things that they have to do. I will research more. I didn't have time to go, but I will answer into the chat the most appropriate answer. I mean the halachic answer, but I'm pretty sure it's similar to what we said. But I will look more into it to have a sack, I'm sure there's a lot of discussion about it in Israel because it's connected to that. But yeah,
and most of the times you don't have to ask the question, you know who it is.
Right. Yes. They thank God they make it pretty clear. But I want to take that opportunity to dedicate the class for the souls of the. Well, there's so many victims now, but the people in Bnei Brak who were killed, and also the women and the soldiers and policemen from this week, we see nothing had happened in Bnei Brak for a long time, very long time, and now that Chaim Kanievsky is gone, I'm sure it's like we weaken in our spiritual protection, and therefore we are more in danger. So we have to realize that the lack of great people that gives us the merit to be protected, it's a real thing, and we have to be even more careful than before, pray even more, and be even more careful with our character traits, and be more vigilant. It's not the same world anymore, where we had the last gadol, at least the last revealed gadol, and we have to be more careful. So yeah, may this class be an innovation for all their souls. Anyone has Any more questions live that you want to ask? Or the no? As Sidina say, I want to go into the deep stuff. Okay. So let's think. So the deep stuff I wanted to talk about really is the difference between a man and a woman. Because really this is what the world is all about. You know, just like the one when you know you have the egg. When you see, you know, you have all those videos with the egg and the baby, and then I mean the sperm coming into the egg, and then it splits from right two and two and two and two and two. Everything split into two. We know the world was created with the word Bereshit. Letter bet. You start with a bet, like Big Bang, which is a big bet. That's why it's Big Bang. And it's a binary. You know, the whole computer system is all binary. And we have to realize that the more we understand what a man is and what a woman is, the more we understand the dynamic of the world, the more we'll be ready to be married, which is the ultimate purpose. The only reason there's a third day, well, the only reason there's a second day is to split the first day, and the only reason there's a third day is to reunite the second day, right? So really, now why 4, 5, and 6? It's a good question. Only 4, 5, 6 are only continuation of 1, 2, 3. A reenactment, but it's also 3. The 7th takes everything back together. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6 who take this 1, 2, 3 further, like expanding them, and then finally we have 7 that takes everything back together to the beginning. But really that works on 3 times 3. So in the spheros, for those who don't know, I know we're doing a little bit Kabbalistic, but in the spheros, right, I like to show off my art, you know. It'll be on sale at the museum for hundreds and thousands of dollars. From a French artist. Pretty cool.
And Rabbi, the scarf adds a great.
It has a great touch to it, right? It's like real French artist. I just need the hat, the French hat, beret, like that, then it'll be perfect. I'm gonna do it like that. People are gonna think I'm a very fancy artist. Okay, anyway, so you have 1, 2, 3. So at the beginning, everything is 1. You have the splits, right, which makes 1, 2, 3. And then you have that split continues 1, 2, 3. And then you have 1, 2, 3. And then you have 1, right? So those three, and those 3 are all connected. And finally, we go to Malchus, which brings us back to the beginning, right? So we started here, so to speak, with God 1, and then we're going to end up here where everything is back to 1, but with us a part of it, right? So self-maseh machshava tchila. The last action is the first thought. The whole point is to go from 2 to 1. It's okay, we still love you. So Bezat Hashem, yes. Okay, so the idea is that even in Kabbalah, it speaks this male spheros and female spheros. Male and female is another term for giving and receiving. That's really what it is, and I like to talk it to speak about it in terms of energy. There's the giving energy and the receiving energy, and our entire life is about how are we gonna be able to harmonize the giving and the receiving. God creates the world. God is the ultimate giver. That's why we always speak about God as male, but sometimes he's called female also, because he allowed himself to become female by allowing himself to receive from us. And say sometimes you can play the male role, you know, and the man with his ego, he likes to give to the wife, but he doesn't want to receive so much, or at least he plays as if he doesn't want to receive, because he's macho. Like, I'm a man, I don't need anyone, I can do it on my own. But no, you cannot have a baby. There'll be no name after you if you don't get the help of women. If you don't, there'll be nobody at your grave cheering for you or pouring some tears, if you don't become a real giver, and if you don't allow yourself to receive, because the woman also wants to be able to give. So we have to understand that at the source, we are male, female. Okay, at the source, men and women are one. It's Adam, which is interesting. We say Adam the first man. I would say Adam the first woman. Right? Why we say Adam the first man? Why don't we say Adam the first woman? Maybe because Adam sounds more male, but who says? Adam comes from Adama, from the earth. It's like, so really the Adam is not more male than female, but when we think of Adam, we think of male. That probably is because after, when he was split, he was still called Adam, and she became Chava. But the Adam Kadmon, the original Adam, he is a perfect balance between, perfect balance. He had both energies in him. The problem is that he didn't know how to balance himself. He needed to learn about himself in order to learn to be one with God. And that's the reason why God had to split him in half, because the same way God split himself in half, so to speak, he created a world out of himself. He gave birth to a world, right? So the world was now the receiving the female energy, God. So why so weak? God was saying, you came out of me, and your wife came out of you, right? And the wife experienced, the baby comes out of me, right? It's like a 3-step process. But we have to understand that this is really what we're trying to understand as men and women. So in you have male and female energy. You need to be aware of that. And in your interaction, one of the first things to do is to see, okay, when I interact with someone else, am I being male or am I being more female? Am I becoming needy? Or am I, sometimes we just even need to give, and you really are female, right? Because you need, because you want to receive something really from the giving, right? So sometimes we get tricked. We act as a giver, but really only in order to receive kavod, to receive recognition, to receive money, or to receive, I don't know, whatever it is, attention, honor. So obviously that's negative. So there's positive male and negative male, and there's positive female and negative female. And the way I like to put it is, you have the man and you have the snake or Satan. That's the negative male. And then you have the woman and Mrs. Lamed, that we don't usually pronounce her name, but so that's why we have those concepts of the male demon or female demon. Why do we even need male and female demon? We can just have demons without genders, right? Because the idea is that there are negative forces that are here to give you so you fail, or take from you so that you the vampire style, so you become empty of your energy or holiness, so that it can survive from that. So we have to ask ourselves, if we are being a giver, the purpose of our giving or the purpose of our receiving, in order to be balanced and healthy male or healthy female. Okay, So that's the first thing to understand, right? That we have those different forces that work in us, and understand that the completion of creation is when all those male and female energies that exist in the world are balanced and harmonized, learn to work with each other. As you see, there's more than 60 to 70% of divorce, and that's only for those who get married. Most people don't get married anymore. There's the destabilization of the family structure. Men think they're women, women think they're men, or they don't know anymore what they are. There's no, is them or there. There's not even, we don't know anymore like what's what. All of that is to bring us back to the beginning of time, to understand, redefine, reconnect to the true definition of what a man and a woman is, the male and female energy, the plus, the minus, so that electricity can flow. If it's 2 plus or 2 minus, it's not going to flow, right? So we want electricity to pass. Need to, now the male and female, and so the two opposites, you understand that we have to work with our opposite. So it applies in so many different areas. You have light and day, and holiness, impurities. You have day and night. You have plus minus. You have the sun and the moon. You have all, like, there's so many layers of that. And the more we look at the symbols in the world, at the different things, light and darkness, the good events and the dark events, all that are here to give us a hint of what we're supposed to do. During the day, everything is clear, and we're here to expand our goodness. During the night, it's a time where things are not clear, where we become more, we come back to the camp, so to speak, back home. And it's the cocoon, is the female energy that is at night more powerful, and it looks dark, but really it's a whole preparation for the next day, to bring the next light, right? And that's like that's one of the reasons where women were looked as something more dangerous, right? There's more witches than sorcerers. People are more scared of witches, and in the past, because of that understanding of the plus and the minus, the male and female, the light and the darkness, there has been a confusion that the darkness is evil. It's not. It's a darkness that brings out the greatest light, right? And only a woman can bring a baby. A man, yeah, he might be like very nice and holy, but he cannot do anything without a woman who has to go through a type of darkness, 9 months of pregnancy and the whole effort and contractions and giving birth. It's bloody, it's intense, it's like on the verge of death. So we have to understand that there's that constant story oppositions. But I want to shift to a different part, and so this more practical for us in our relationship, is that the woman and the man, one of the main difference is that men communicate with their brain, with logic, with reason. So men's natural energy power is the brain, and women main power, greatest power, is their heart. So the male organ is more the brain, and the female organ is more the heart. And that means that by nature, men are going to communicate more with their brain and with logic, and women are going to try to connect more with their emotions. And that's very important, especially when we get married, that we need, when we have relationship, to understand the language that we need to use when we communicate with someone else. because if you use logic when a woman is crying, it's not going to work. And if women use emotions when the man is trying to resolve a logical situation, it's not going to work, right? Paying the bills is not going to work. So this is very important. It's one of the biggest challenge in communication skills, I think, is learning to communicate on the same level. Man has to learn to go down to the heart, and the woman needs to learn to go up to the brain. Being just brain is not good. Just being just heart is not good, because then separate. The goal is to unite the body and soul, the body and heart. So that's the second aspect that is very important. Understand that a woman is naturally more sensitive. She's more connected to her emotions. She's more emotional. She's more, and therefore she needs to be treated with more softness, being much more careful of what we say, and trying to speak to a woman like we're speaking to her heart. And a woman has to speak to a man like she's speaking to a brain, right? Now, sometimes those roles are shifted, and the man is more emotional and the woman is more intellectual. That happens a lot, especially nowadays. And that's okay. That's not a bad thing, but just they need to both be aware who is who, so there's no confusion, but basically understand how to respond to the other one's language. Now, it doesn't mean that a woman doesn't have any logic or anything, God forbid. Women are sometimes much smarter than men, and men are sometimes more emotional than women, although it's rare. But it's one of the reasons the women are so sensitive is to teach men how to be so refined. Unfortunately, a lot of men, they look it as a weakness or something, because in today's world, if men don't cry, so we make believe that men is that they transform us. Society try to transform even more of it. I mean, sometimes you see a movie where say, I see you cry, I want to marry you. Like it's the woman is showing that she's researching in the man, him being able to be vulnerable and express her emotion just like a woman usually does. And that's one of the reasons when men usually try to escape from the emotions, and if there's an argument, they just leave because they don't want to deal with the emotions. And the woman, she just want to communicate and speak, so that all the emotions are being flowing like that, and it's two opposite things. So they need to learn to find the right way to communicate when there's something intense happening. And the man and woman both need to understand that. The woman needs to understand that just communicating too much when there's attention is not healthy, and the man needs to understand that just escaping without saying anything also is not healthy, right? So you have to find, okay, how we're gonna deal when we have an intense situation like that, so that we don't overdo it or escape. It is like almost fight and flight. The woman will be more the fight, and the man will be the flight, right? So the woman, she wants, let's talk, let's do it, and the man's like, I'm out, and that's the trigger response, self-defense response. Men want to be in heaven, women want to be on earth. Men want to be, at least in the Jewish world, they want to be in their books. The women want to be home with the kids. So that's heaven and earth. Now it says the root of earth in the Zohar, because some people think, oh, earth is a lower level. No, it's not a lower level. It says that actually earth, or the woman, the root of matter, or the physical world, which the earth, actually comes from a higher place than the spiritual, than heaven. So, which means that even though on the outside it looks that the woman is more physical, right? She's more into the keys, the whatever, the physicality, dressing up, make yourself beautiful. All this is actually a reflection of the something much deeper in her, which is the beauty of her soul and the spirituality, but that is expressed in a physical way. That's why they love shoes. Women love shoes. And today a lot of men love shoes, and they buy like sneakers for like my kids, like they want sneakers like they're $250. Like, what? You're crazy. No, that's, but why shoes? Because shoes represents the body, and the body, the body is to the soul what the shoe is to the body, right? The body is very small compared to the gigantic soul, so the shoe is very small compared to your gigantic body, right? So when we change shoes, it's like we change body. I want, but the soul is still the same. We look like this. We're looking for ourselves. Am I what's my mission? Am I this? Am I that? So I put the sneakers and I put that type of shoe, and now today I'm this type. We're looking for ourselves. So different types of shoes is different expressions of the neshama, different expression of who we want to be. And the woman, with her neshama, being neshama, she's trying to, find herself in this world, which is hard because your soul is hard to identify as to what we are in the world. But the Zohar says that there's two actually different ways the Zohar describe it. Sometimes it says the woman is the soul, it's describing Sarah, and Avram is the body. I think that's the place, but I'm not sure exactly. But they describe the woman as the soul and the man as the body, right? The man is external. His sexual organ is external. He goes outside in the world, so it's really more the externality. And the woman, she is more the soul. She's the internality. She's the one. That's why she's the one who's more tznius. It's hidden. It's more inside. She got to protect that. That's her strength, and that's why her sexual organs are internal also. So that's one Zohar. There's another Zohar, I believe it's a Zohar, if I remember correctly, where it says not the man is more the soul, because the meaning connected to the brain, the more spiritual he wants. This is the one who learns and all that, and the woman is more the body. But let's understand that it's one being, okay? So there's not one better than the other. Right? It's like, oh yeah, I have my brain is more important than my heart. Well, if you had to choose, would you choose to be a brain or a heart? Right? But you cannot have one. It just doesn't work. So there's not one better than the other. Our whole 2,000, 3,000 years has been competition and all that, and so it's a challenging thing, but we're still dealing with the competition nowadays with the feminist movement, all that, because the woman power has been subdued for so many years. It's a little bit connected to the sin of Adam Arishan, where the female energy got cursed that the male energy will dominate, which means the physical will dominate, so to speak, the female. And we see men are more powerful physically, they dominate, and spiritually also the man was dominating by being the one who learns Torah, all that. But now we see that it's reversing. The women are becoming more and more knowledgeable, teachers, judges, everything, soon presidents, and we see that there's a reversal of the female energy. Now the female energy that has been repressed for so many years now is coming out in its full force, and we're going to see that really it's higher than men, although or at least its source is higher than men, although, right, we're not trying to have anybody higher than anybody else. We're trying to be equal, understand that we need both each other. Each one is its own unique set of talent, energy, and tool that the other one needs to be completed. So you can have a puzzle with in a puzzle you need at least two pieces, otherwise not a puzzle, right? So it's at least a two-piece puzzle, and we need both. Yeah, Dina, what do you wanted to ask?
No, what you were saying about how different types of shoes, it gives off different types of like expressions within ourselves, but like, so that like evokes different parts to ourselves. So what would you like, say, like, so who is the real us? Like,
Who? Oh,
it's almost like a mask. Like, okay, you put on these types of shoes and like not even with shoes, like different things, like, things that like evoke these, like they, awaken, so to speak, like these different parts of you.
right. Yeah, yeah. And by the way, that's
So like, who is the real you?
that's the whole thing of Purim.
Right. Yeah. With the
With the mask, right? We play like Purim is like. And by the way, what do we do on Yom Kippur when we go to shul? We're supposed to remove our shoes. No,
yeah, I
no.
feel like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, like, on Yom Kippur, it's much easier to become closer.
Yeah. But Yom Kippur, because we're removing anything that has to do with them. But I'm on Yom Kippur, I'm like a ninja. I'm just a soul. I don't need to eat. I don't need to drink. I'm just that spiritual being. I pray all day. When I sing, I pray. It's one of the happiest days of the year. If people think Yom Kippur is something sad, it's one of the two happiest days of the year. So Purim is also very happy, but what's the beauty of Purim? The Purim is the unification of the male and female energies. The Mordechai and Esther, Megillat Esther, right? It's and Esther means hidden. The hidden takes the power to reveal. So that's why it's kind of the only holiday that's going to stay at the end of time, because finally the reveal becomes, the hidden becomes revealed. The female power becomes revealed, and she becomes the queen, right? So that's really what we're aiming for, to find ourselves, to find true energy, and learn to be balanced in this world.
Rabbi, but why is there different parts? Like, why are they? I feel like there's like so many layers to us, and like as we go through life, different stages, and like there's just constantly always like, oh wow, like I didn't know, like there's like still like so much more to learn about yourself, and there's just like so many constantly, more layers that keep coming up to surface, and it's like where is all of this coming from?
It's because God created the onion. An onion. No, it's true. Why do you think God created onions? Exactly for what? Yeah, because God had to teach us. Even in Kabbalah, the Tzimtzum, the way they describe the way God made the world is like that, which is an onion, right? That's the Tzimtzum. It's all many different layers. Really, those layers correspond to the spheroids that we spoke about before. And all those layers is to tell you that the way, what's that line? That line is the Or Ein Sof, right? It's the light of the Ein Sof, which means God's light, not himself, essence, because we can not experience that, can experience the Or Ein Sof, the light of the Ein Sof. But what it means is that, we're looking for another picture. Whatever. So, but the idea is that this light goes in, so that's the female energy, which is the onion. What happened each time when you peel of an onion? What happens? We start
Another
crying.
layer. Oh, okay, yeah.
Right? Why is the onion makes us cry? Because it's the female energy, so we start crying. Like when it's women cry easily, says the Talmud. Therefore, we have to be very careful where we talk to it. So as the goal is to go deeper. That's the male energy is supposed to go deeper into the female energy. Okay, even the symbol, right? So it's female. The symbols, the female symbol of round, like the breast or the womb, and same thing the light, the rays of light, or the energy, which is like a straight light, like the sexual organ. So it's God saying, I'm making love to the world. You're supposed to make love to the world. You're supposed to penetrate deeper and deeper into the physicality of this world until you find to the deepest part, to the deepest darkness, to the deepest physical part of the world, me. Right? It's like the man is going deep, deep, deep into the female to find himself. Right? The man has to understand he cannot find himself without his wife. And same thing, the wife understands she cannot. She's here to help the husband achieve that and reveal and experience that. And if the husband is deserving, she let herself being loved by him, and she will be able to transform him into someone much greater. That's the main work of the woman. So it's that's another aspect of it, more Kabbalistic. But the woman, again, is more emotional. She's more into intuition. She's more into saying things without saying things. Is more the darkness, where she's here to hint. The man has to figure out, right? Because the woman is more connected to romance. She's looking for romance. She wants something. So if you say everything explicitly, it loses its romance. The man has to try to guess. He has to try to play the game of romance and guess and seduce her to find, the secret. Okay, the man is a hide and seek. His work on, it says even in the Gemara, why is it the way of men to look for women? Because that's that's what it is. The woman is like his lost object. We're playing hide and seek, where the man represents the light in this context, and she represents the hiddenness, the darkness, and he has to go in the darkness to find the light and the source of the darkness and bring the light back to the darkness. The woman allows him to do that. So I'm different things.
Yeah, I was processing all of that.
right now, because it's there's so many layers, because that's the foundation of all of everything, of love and all that. So it is very, very important. We have to think a lot about those concepts. So yeah, so we have to learn to seduce each other, right? So the woman is going to be more quiet in this instance. She's hinting at the man. The man has to try to figure out. He has to decode the language that she's talking, right? Yeah, as if to say he has to learn her body language, or the tone of her voice, right? When she says what, you have to know that she's upset or things like that, right? And learning to see deeper than the external, even though she's going to be the one who represents very often the physical world. The whole idea is like, how do you going to look into the physical to see deeper than the physical world? And the physical world hides something very spiritual and much deeper than the physical, right? And that's man's job to do that. So he has to try to get the hints, which men are very bad at, even though they have, so to speak, a brain and a logic. Usually they're not so good at, like, there's a very famous book about that. My rabbi spoke about it. I forgot, but
Rabbi, just so crazy how we have so much power. We don't even know how to access that, or like how to like harness it and channel it and like, you know what I mean? Like use it in the right way. Like we don't, it's just we have so much energy and so much, we don't know how to use it like to the fullest potential.
Yes.
Or like we're also like afraid, or sometimes like people like they're afraid of their greatness, they're afraid of their power.
Yes. I definitely, think that one of the reasons we don't want to go too deep into things is because people are scared of the truth. Why I'm gonna say one bad word and that's gonna, hurt someone else from that one word. We don't want to believe it, right? If we really believed it, nobody will speak lashon hara. But we try to say, nah, it's okay, yeah, it's not good, it's bad vibes. No. We are terrified of our true power. That's one of the reasons it says that God put the Har Sinai on top of our heads because we were too scared to make a mistake. We are going to be the Jewish people. We're going to be yourself. Okay, we want to marry you. Yes, we want to be one with you. We want to be your people. But we're going to have to paskin halacha. We're going to have to be role model for others. We're going to have to make choices between right and wrong, kosher, not kosher. Well, yeah, wrong. We're gonna make. What if we mess up everything? It's fine. I'll be there. Just do it. Don't worry. You will mess up. How quick we messed up after we got the Torah? 40 days, right? 39 days, and we did this. The one of the biggest sin of Avodah Zarah, even though it was not Avodah Zarah technically, but the idea is that it's okay to mess up. You're gonna mess up. There's no question. As long as you're connected to me, as long as you want to do the right thing, as long as you have true love, as long as you care, then it's fine. You should do it. So that represents the female power, the Torah Shebial Peh, to the concrete decision, the psak, right? Psak is called Torah Shebial Peh. Torah Shebichsav is male. Torah Shebial Peh is female. The written Torah is male energy. The female Torah is Torah Shebial Peh. It's female. So that's why women technically don't need to learn Gemara and all that stuff because they are that energy. And men, they need to learn both because they need to understand with their male energy the female energy, right? And so it's even in the Torah world we understand that people don't know that, they don't understand. So men are supposed to learn Kabbalah to try to understand really the depth of it, and Kabbalah is really all about love, all about male and female energy. So I say you should be married ideally when you learn deep, and the women says they don't need to learn Kabbalah. They are Kabbalah. Women are spooky anyway. For they know things, they feel things, they know the intuition tells them, right? So all that is part of the. Because we have to understand the woman has that superpower of being able to give birth, which a man cannot understand. That giving birth is almost understanding how God gave birth to the world, right? Meaning that a woman more than a man can understand the feeling, that the love that God has for the world, for its child, right? A man cannot connect to the child, the love of a child, like a woman does. It's just not the same. And that's why the child is Jewish or not Jewish because of the mother, not because of the man, right? So that's how important it is to be aware of that. So yeah, and that's why women are much more social, men are much less social, right? Because they're natural communicator, men are not natural communicator, and that's part of understanding. A man has to learn how to communicate more. A woman is here to teach him. This is something I wrote. It's called My Wife, My Teacher. Guys don't like that one so much, but women say, "Oh yeah, can I please have it for my husband?" But yeah, this is really how every man should look at it. Is my wife my teacher? She's here to teach me more about myself, to teach me how to be a real man, teach me how to be greater, to teach me how to become a real giver, or teach me how to be a real lover. But the man has so much ego that they reject it anyway, and they don't want to get married. They just want to be connected to women just for the pleasure, just for the fun, just for the good feeling. But he doesn't want to go inside of him, in his woman, right. Yes, it has to go in the woman in him, the woman teaching how to go to his own woman, which is part of his wife. But that's the Ezek Negdo. She's there to show him how to turn on the woman in him and to balance it with his male energy. So that's the few concepts that I wanted to share, that I think are very deep. It goes much deeper. There's also Zachar and Nekeva. Oh, that one more point I think is important to mention is Zachar and Nekeva. The man is called Zachar. Zachar means to remember, right? Also Zecher Yetziat Mitzrayim. So man's energy is the future. Woman's energy is more the past or the present, right? If you're too male, you're going to be too much in the future. It's all about your dreams, your thoughts, your ideas. Very nice, right? It's very much head connected to the head. If you dwell too much in the past, it's much more emotional. You're something that keeps you connected to the past because of your past emotion. It's and a woman is going to have a much harder time to disconnect from, the female energy, right? And she's worried because of what happens in the past or what happens in the present. We need food on the table. The husband says, "Don't worry, I have a great plan. This is going to be fine." But so a woman needs the male energy to not be stuck into the past or the present, to be able to be positive and understand that, God will provide, even though now it might look dark, there's a light to come. Every night is followed by a day. And the man, so that's the nekeva, that's the hole, the pit, the board, where you fall into that pit of emotional, and you stuck, right? And you can't move past your stress, your emotion, your negative experience, the abuse or whatever it is. You need to move forward. So that's the how of the man. The man, however, needs to remember that where he comes from. If you only focus in the future, it's not healthy. You need to know where you come from. You need a direction, and you need to use. You can't be too much in the future. You have to be more in the present. You need to provide now. It's nice to have a nice dream, but hey, I need food on the table, baby. It's nice that you have those dreams, but I gotta feed the kids. So bring me back some hot potatoes, potatoes, and that I can cook. So man cannot be too much in the future. So he's called Zachar, so that he remembers. He has to remember the past. Remember, it brings you back into the past. Remember when you need something now. Remember that the source, and that the past is also important. You cannot move forward without the past and the present. So don't be in la la land, basically. And the woman is, don't be just too practical. You're gonna choke the man if you ruin all his dream. Each time you give him, he gives you an idea. You say that's never gonna work. Nonsense like that. You destroy your man. You have to let the man have his ideas and dream and have his plans. If you choke him, he'll never be able to have a business plan to work. There has to be some reliance on some bitachon, some emuna, some
Rabbi, what if it's not realistic? His goals, his
it doesn't matter if they're realistic or not. You have to
it
let
doesn't
him
go by
win.
personality. Like if he's able to take whatever his ideas and
Well, yeah, some men are
put
much
it
more
into
female balanced and able to make it practical. Some women
right.
are more male energy, and other ones with the big ideas. I want to travel the world and, you know, save all the children. So
But like, what are you? If like what he's saying, it's just like he's just like used to like ideas, but there's no like results, or you know, like you get what I'm saying? Like it's just he's just like talking
no, no,
about
no,
ideas.
no, yeah, no, no. What I'm saying is that you 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 have to let him dream a little bit, but then you have to tell him, okay, you know, I need food on the table. Meaning you have to balance his visions on that. You say, don't as soon as he say it, or let's say, yeah, you know, had an idea, you know, you speak about the future and you have ideas like, oh, it's very nice, very nice. You know, I like your dreams, your vision, but it cannot be that that's the you after a while, once you let him dream, you can, oh, so how do you think you can do this? You bring him back to practical application, right? The woman is reality, is like now. Okay, so what are you gonna do now about it? She can help him build his dreams or help him come back down to reality, but she has to do it in a smart way, not by choking him in his vision, right? Otherwise, the it's like saying the brain is gonna be flooded by the heart, the emotions of the heart. You can't do that. So you have to let the brain float a little bit, and then you can drown him.
And then stamp. I'm just
So it's a balance. But yeah, you know, as soon as he dreams too much, you just give him the baby, here, change the poop, and then he's gonna go back to reality. Right? Then you know he's it's gonna bring him down from the heavens. Yeah, so those are the different ideas, again, right, that we find the difference between man and woman. And it's potential and reality. Man is potential, woman is reality. And again, there's many different levels, but those are the main concept to start with, that when you're aware of those things, you are able to have more control of your power, more awareness of what it is that you're here to do. And yeah, so that's what I want to share. I saw before that I wrote something about Pesach, and oh, okay, so that's just a, yeah, okay, maybe I'll post it into the chat. The idea of Pesach, you have to be free as a couple. I think, you know, for people that are free as a individual, we have individual freedom, but what we're saying also, it's it says when we're in Egypt that we were enslaved, and the Arizal says that the Koach HaDibur was in exile. The power of speech. What's the power of speech? Is the combination of heart and brain, right? It goes, the speech is supposed to express, a true speech supposed to express what the brain and the heart think and feel. And in many ways, if we want to, so to free ourselves, we need to free ourselves from not being in touch with our heart, or not being in touch with our brain, and not speak just from emotions, and or not speak just from into the logic. We need a balance between the two. That will lead you to true freedom. And that's why Passover Seder is all about talking to each other, and talking to the children, using our heart, using our brain, speaking to the people at the Seder table in a way that they can relate to you intellectually, and so spiritually and emotionally. And same thing as a couple, trying to achieve true freedom by being able to speak to each other about anything without having a feeling of hurting each other, without thinking at it as that it's a fight. So yeah, but I will try to post it. All right. I think we revealed some beautiful deep secrets. And yes.
Rabbi, I just have I don't know if I think this is a Kabbalistic question. I heard that you're not allowed to do your nails and your toenails on the same day. Is that true?
No, I mean
Like
you're
you
gonna
can't.
it. The reason they speak about that is because of when we bury the dead and we prepare their body to be buried, they cut all the nails, toes nails, and hand nails. But that's according to superstition. It's not halakha. What people do for the nails, they just make sure they don't cut it in order because that's what we do with a dead person. So they skip one finger and then come back to it. You can do that for nails and toes, but you don't have to worry
But what
about.
about at night? You're allowed to cut your nails and hair at night?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I heard hair is I don't know.
Well,
It's
they
better not.
always
It's
gonna
better to do it before. I don't know sunset, but like not during the nighttime. That's what I heard. I don't know.
yeah, you're always gonna have different deep Kabbalistic stuff,
Like
but
avoid it at night.
let's just say the thing we should avoid is hatred, anger, and stealing. And we focus sometimes too much on those Kabbalistic stuff when we can't even
Yeah.
not be right. And we have to. It's not that it's not important. There's the Kabbalah is important and the energy is important. What we do matter, but it only matters if we're connected. If you feel that if you really feel that cutting your nails can really have a huge impact in the world, it will only work if you're spiritually connected to your soul, which means not getting angry, not lying, not being sad, not hurting people, and being self-destructive. If we can just do that, then maybe we can reach some level of true power that when you cut your nail, something is going to happen. You know what I mean? We go sometimes too much into the spiritual. We become too male. We have to learn to be female present, and what really matters. That's what's really going to change. The woman gives the essence of what we need, which is love, true love, is home based, right? She gives the milk, the man, what the baby needs, the true nourishment. That's what we need. The middles is a true nourishment. There's a reason. For me, I always wanted to be with women, or to even to be a woman, because I said they're so much nicer, they're so much softer, there's so much. Men are usually cruel. It's all about their ego. They're selfish, right? They just want physical pleasure. It's all thing.
I
So
was gonna say the opposite is this. I would rather be a man. First of all, you get to learn all day, learn all whatever, and also you don't have to deal with all your emotions.
so you see, my female energy is trying to have a new male energy. We should switch seats. You come sit here, and I'll deal with the emotions. No, but yeah, we it's clear that if the world was mostly made out of women, obviously it can't work with just one, but you can see already in the world that women in general are nicer and softer than men. They're not usually the ones who lead wars or lead things. There's always men behind it, leaders. All the top leaders, which are usually not good leaders, maybe an exception with the Queen of England, but or some like vicious queens, and like they according to some opinion, she's the head of in the Illuminatis and like all that stuff, of all of the America and Obama and all that. I don't know, there's so many theories and conspiracies. Anyway, it doesn't matter, but like I said at the beginning, there's Satan, the negative male energy, and there's Mrs. Lamed with the negative female energy, and they're both very bad. But again, the key is to balance everything, and God willing, we'll be able to bring Moshiach. It says the main power of Moshiach will be his wife, because Moshiach connects to Malchut. Malchut is the feminine sphere, is the last base, is all the bottom, but that's where Moshiach is, and that's the Shechin, that's going to the Shechina, which is female energy. God, right? Even God, we speak about Leshem Yichud, Kudsha Brichu, Ushchinte. Kudsha Brichu, male energy, Ushchinte is female energy. For us to understand how God interacts with us on a male-female level too. Let's remember that God sometimes is called our mother, and sometimes he's called our sister, and sometimes he's called I forgot, but the yeah, more than sister, and sometimes even lechado dilikhat kala, right? So we define God as female energy, becoming one with his humanity, and as being male. When we act as givers, then God becomes female. He allows himself to receive from us, even though he doesn't need it. It's an act of he put himself into female mode, seemed to be able to receive from us, so to speak, and that's yeah, that's his greatest proof of love. So with that said, I wish everyone that they should be able to become real Adam, male and female, reunite their male and female energy in them, understand yourself, and understand the energies in the world, so that we can one day really bring true harmony into the world. May you all find your other side, whether it's more male or more female energy, whatever you need to be completed. So B'ezrat Hashem, we should all experience that perfect harmony very, very soon, all of us, inside, outside, physically and spiritually. All right. Bye-bye,
Thank you
everyone.
so much, Rabbi.
My pleasure, and we'll see you